It's Trump's first 100 days with a focus on politics and policy under the new administration. I'm David Gura. And turning to international politics now, the man Russian President Vladimir Putin may most worry about, at least inside Russia, is Alexei Navalny. Oliver Renick talked to Bloomberg Businessweek editor Matt Phillips about the Russian presidential hopeful.
Alexei Navalny is perhaps the man that Vladimir Putin fears the most in Russia right now. He is an opposition candidate. He is touring around the hinterlands of Russia, really, trying to get his name recognition out there. He's barred from going on television. Kremlin officials try not to say his name. Less than half of the Russian population even know who he is.
So it seems like if you're going up against Putin, you must be onto something if you're not allowed on Russian TV. It sounds like he's picking up on some trend. Tell us what exactly this protest movement you referred to entails.
Well, it's all about corruption, really. That's the message that he's trying to get out there. He's just put out a film talking about really detailing some of the eye-popping levels of corruption and the amount of money that Putin and a lot of his supporters have kind of taken from the state. This protest movement happened in 80 cities across 8 time zones. Russia's a massive country. That surprised the Kremlin, I think, from our reporting, and that would probably surprise Navalny, too. About 60,000 people came out across 80 cities. About 1,000 people were arrested. There's an election next year. It's unclear whether the Kremlin is going to let Navalny even run. That gives you a sense of what he's up against.
So what's he doing right now, then? If he doesn't even know if he's going to be able to run, how does the process work? What is he trying to accomplish?
Well, he's trying to accomplish getting his name out there and to try to get people fired up about what he sees as historic levels of corruption from Putin and the oligarchs and supporters that surround him.
Now, when we think about somebody subverting a sort of geopolitics and the status quo, we see this happening around the world. It's tempting to draw parallels. Are there any parallels with what he's doing, pushing back on the government, versus what we've seen in other sort of either populist movements around the world or just general sort of subversion of what's been the norm?
Possibly. The message that he's taking out there to kind of the hinterlands, the provinces, the regions, is one of economic populism. Putin is trying to get the country out of the deepest recession that they've had really since he's been in power because of the oil prices. He's spending big on defense and he's spending big on infrastructure around the cities. Navalny's going around to working class towns and cities all over Russia and saying, how much of this largesse are you getting? You're working well below the poverty line. You're a hardworking Russian. We should be less focused on trying to restore the greatness of the Russian Empire and actually try to get some of these people a living wage and get them above the poverty line.